All right. Hi, guys. Very good morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's class. Am I audible, guys? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, here, guys, now we are almost 80% done with our DevOps journey, where we understood how to use different tools for different purposes. For suppose, we started by understanding how do we manage code. Okay. So when we started the journey, you guys had absolutely no idea what's DevOps, where exactly DevOps come into the picture. But then what did we do? We started working by code. So we understood how do we manage the code? How do we test the code? We have seen how to test the code with Maven. And how do we build the code? How do we analyze the code with Sonar? How do we use Nexus as a code repository? How do we use Docker for building images? How do we use Trivi for scanning those images that we built? How do we use Kubernetes for running multiple container images once? Now, clear, right? Yes, guys, clear? Clear on this? Any questions? Kindly let me know. This is what we have worked so far, correct? So now, here, there are multiple services that you guys are going ahead, that you guys are continuously working towards, guys. Yes. So there are multiple services that we guys are going ahead, that we guys are continuously working towards. So here. So what we did now under DevOps, every service or every stage has a different tool. What I'll do is I'll just take a other image, something clear. That image is very unclear. All right. So this is what we have understood in DevOps, guys. Now you guys know how to work with code, how to build it, how to test it, how to release it, how to deploy it, how to operate it. Monitoring is not part of our job. So if you want to get into monitoring, again, we need to get into SRE layer. So we can look at that later. So in the future, let's say down the lane, you guys are working as a DevOps engineer, you guys have gained 2 to 3 years of experience. Then I suggest you to look into observability. Okay. Because monitoring, it deals with a lot of log generation, tools monitoring, dashboard creation, documentation works, so on and so forth. Okay. So monitoring is just like an altogether different job role again, guys. Okay. So if your goal is DevOps, focus on all the tools that we have been working on. If you want to get into monitoring, again, then you might have to look into another career choice like SRE, being an SRE. You want to, just like how you want to get into testing, you need to be like a full-fledged tester. So same thing. So now the question is, guys, now you guys know how to use different platforms, like you know how to use GitHub to clone the code, how to use Maven to build the code, how to use SonarQube to test it, how to use Nexus to store build artifacts, how to use Docker to deploy, how to use Ansible and Kubernetes to manage, and Terraform for infrastructure. Yes, guys. Yes, no, maybe so. Correct. These are all the tools that you guys have learned so far. Correct. Yes or no? Now, all these tools, they are working individually, guys. All these tools, they are working individually. So what happens is, now, whenever there is a change in the code, what will you do? You have to manually clone the code, manually build it, manually test it, release it, deploy it, create the image manually, run the containers manually. Whatever the job that you guys are going ahead, whatever the job that you guys have been performing, you have to perform all these actions in a manual layer. That's it. Guys, one second. Hmm. Yeah. So Whatever the jobs that you guys are going to perform, you have to perform all these jobs on a manual layer, guys. Of course, you are using different tools. Of course, you are using different tools, but still, you guys are going ahead. You guys are working on all these tools individually. These tools are not been working together in a collaborative manner, right? So whenever developer writes the code, you go ahead, you check if the changes are updated, you will clone it, then you will build it, then you will test it, you will release it, then you will convert the artifact into image, then you will deploy the artifact by using tool called as Kubernetes. This has been happening in a manual layer. Yes or no? No. But now what I want to do is whatever the tools I'm using, like to build the code, I'm using GitHub. Sorry, to manage code, I'm using GitHub. To build the code, let's say I'm using Maven. To test the code, let's say I'm using SonarQube. To release the code, let's say I'm using Nexus. To deploy the code, let's say I'm using Docker. To operate, I'm using Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform. Okay. But now what I want is whenever now I want to integrate automation in such layer, like whenever developer pushes the code, what did we learn? Whenever the developer makes the change, he pushes the code, right? Whenever developer pushes the code, I want automatically the code should be cloned, okay, automatically. Automatically, the build should happen. Automatically, test should happen. Automatically, release should happen. Automatically, deployment should happen. Automatically, operations should happen. Automatically, monitoring should happen. Automatically, everything should happen. So this entire process has to be automated. This entire process has to be automated. So this is where we are going to introduce a platform that will help us to perform continuous integration, continuous delivery, or continuous deployment. Now, what do you mean by this continuous integration? What do you mean by this continuous delivery? What do you mean by this continuous deployment means? First, let's talk about integration. What is continuous integration? Continuous integration ante enti? Continuous integration means as soon as the developer writes the code, no, once the code is pushed, the build and test should happen. This is integration. Integration means cloning, building, testing. Now, once this is done, we will release the code and then comes the continuous delivery part, the delivery or deployment. Now, deployment means what? Okay, I cloned the code, I built the code, I tested the code. That is fine. That's done. But what's next? What is next is once this code is tested, now next continuous delivery should happen. Delivery means as soon as the code is tested, the code should be converted into image. Okay. The image should be deployed on top of Docker Hub, and from the Docker Hub, the Kubernetes should pull this image. Kubernetes should pull this image, and Kubernetes should start deploying this image. This is my goal, guys. This is my goal. So I want every operation to be happening in a continuous delivery model. Each and every single operation should be performed under a continuous integration, continuous delivery model. This methodology is called as CI/CD. CI/CD stands for continuous integration, continuous delivery. Clear? Clear? Any questions here? Clear or any questions here? Okay. So now, now, to do these operations, okay, guys, once again. Just one second. So here now, in order to go ahead, in order to go ahead, in order to perform, in order to do this action, what we need is we need a CI/CD tool, guys. Okay, we need an automation tool that will help us in order to perform all these actions. And the automation tool that we are going ahead, that we are going to be using in this particular market, or that we are going to be using in this particular platform, is called as what? Is called as Jenkins. So what is the tool that we are going to be using to do this action, guys? The tool that we are going to be using is called as what? Jenkins. So what is Jenkins? The most easiest way, the most simplest answer. Jenkins is the open source automation server. It helps automate the parts of software development related to building, testing, and deploying, facilitating continuous integration and continuous delivery. Got it, guys? So what is exactly Jenkins doing? Jenkins is helping us to automate the process of software development. You're going to be automating the process of software development. By doing what? By building, testing, deploying, facilitating continuous integration and continuous delivery. Okay. So if I want a platform, where I want to use all these tools together, I want to manage this entire CI/CD flow, this entire this entire tools that I'm using in GitHub in a continuous manner, then we are going to be going ahead. We are going to be introducing a tool here called as Jenkins. Now, Jenkins is a very popular tool across the world, guys. Jenkins, once again. Jenkins helps you to perform various different actions. And the most important thing is what I'm trying to aim is for is continuous integration, continuous deployment, or it is also called as continuous delivery. It is also called as continuous delivery. We will also be looking at it. We will also be looking at it. So here, what is Jenkins? One second. So what is Jenkins? Jenkins is one of the most popular automation tool used worldwide for continuous integration, continuous delivery. Jenkins is a free and open source automation server that enables developers to build, integrate, and test code automatically as soon as the code is committed to the source repository. So again, it's not just for developers, guys. Usually they say developers, but it's actually the delivery team that does this. So why Jenkins? When working on a project, different teams different teams like developers often face issues with different teams using different CI tools. Like CI means integration tools for suppose version management and other tools. Setting up a CI/CD toolchain for each project will lead to certain challenges like slower releases, manual builds, non-repeatable process, and no automation. So when every team is working across multiple different tools, see, even in our journey itself, we almost covered 10 different tools. Yes or no, guys? We almost covered 10 different tools, starting from GitHub, Maven, Nexus, Docker, Kubernetes, Trivi, Ansible, Terraform. Like this, there are multiple different tools that comes into the picture. Now, when you want to work with all these tools together, this is where Jenkins comes into the picture. So why Jenkins? Jenkins provides a solution for all the challenges like for automated builds, automated tests, automated pipelines, automated deployments, and ability to install Jenkins locally. So you guys can go ahead, you guys can install Jenkins on any server. You guys are working on Windows server, you guys can install Jenkins. Linux, Mac, you guys can install Jenkins on any particular platform. Now, why exactly Jenkins? So what is so special about Jenkins, guys? Jenkins is firstly, it is completely open source. Jenkins is completely open source. Now you guys can go ahead, you guys can download and use Jenkins on any different platform. And Jenkins offers 1,000+ plugins, guys. So this is the beauty. This is why we go for Jenkins. It offers what? 1,000+ plugins. So what is a plugin? Simply imagine a plugin is just like an extension. Got it, right? A plugin is just like an extension. For suppose, let's say you're using Google Chrome. Yeah, you're using Google Chrome. So in Google Chrome, you also have extensions, right? Correct? So what does that extensions do, guys? What is the purpose of the extensions? They give you some additional ability, like your pop-up blocker. Let's say you want to block some pop-ups, or let's say you want to download something directly from the browser. You want some gaming extensions. So you have lot of different extensions. Same thing, Jenkins uses plugins. So where these plugins will come into the picture? It's, let's say I want to integrate Jenkins with AWS. You have a plugin. I want to integrate Jenkins with Azure. You have a plugin. I want to integrate Jenkins with GCP. You have a plugin. I want to integrate Jenkins with Docker. Plugin. I want to integrate with Kubernetes. Plugin. For every job, Jenkins has a plugin. Got it, right? And it is free. Okay. Jenkins has both free and enterprise versions as well. So in organizations, mostly, not mostly, definitely we use enterprise versions only. Clear? Clear? Yes, clear. Where exactly Jenkins is coming into the picture. So now, what is exactly Jenkins what is exactly Jenkins doing for us? So Jenkins is helping us perform 3 different actions. One is continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. Okay. CI CD. So this is the simple terminology, the simple way to term it is we call it CI CD. CI CD stands for continuous integration, continuous delivery. So what is continuous integration? Let's go ahead. Let's check it out. So this is what I just repeated it. Correct? Continuous integration ante enti. What is continuous integration? Continuous integration is a process in which the code is merged from multiple contributors. So continuous integration is a process where the code is merged from multiple contributors. Now, who are contributors, guys? In GitHub, who are contributors?
Developers.
Very good. We have seen now how to add contributors. You go to a repository, you create a repository, you go to settings where you add collaborators. Yeah. The term in GitHub is called as what? So Jenkins is a platform that helps you merge the code from multiple contributors and add it to a single repository. So I can make sure that everything is under a single umbrella. In simple words, CI is a process to take the code, package it, and send it to CD for further processing. So what you do, you take the code, you build it, package it. Packages mean what? You convert it into artifact. Okay. And once this is done, you will not deploy it directly, you will send it further. Continuous deployment. Continuous deployment is an automated process in which code is taken from the repository and deployed to the system. So once the artifact is ready, what do? You take it, you deploy it. This is what is called as continuous deployment. Deployment means you are going ahead, you are deploying the particular application code on top of a web server. That can be a Tomcat web server, or that can be a JBoss, Glassfish, or HTTP web server, any type of web server. So now, one second, guys. So now pay attention, guys. This is very important. Okay. So CI/CD. Now remember this. Okay. Just remember this. If you want to know what is Jenkins in simple terms, just remember this. CI/CD in simple words is a process to take a code, package it up, and deploy it to a system that can be serverless, a VM, or a container. Simple. CI/CD in simply words is not is to process to take a code, package it, means build the code and deploy it in the system. That's it. That's it. That's it. In a continuous manner. CI/CD can be broken down into 3 steps. What is it? Continuous integration. That means taking the code. Continuous delivery. That means building the code. Okay. So this is human readable code. From human readable, what do we convert into? Machine readable. And from machine readable again into image. And then you take this image, deploy it. That is called as continuous deployment. Continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. Got it, guys? These are the 3 stages that fall or that are being handled by Jenkins. But again, for each and every single stage, you have to go ahead first. You have to integrate them manually, guys. So once you integrate them manually, that is when the cycle will start running. Okay. Now, continuous integration. You see, again, what is happening? Package the code. You package the code. You test the code. You run security checks again the code. So you're making sure that the code is completely fine. The code is converted into binary code. It is tested. Continuous delivery. Okay, continuous delivery. What happens? Ensure you are authenticated to the system or wherever you are deploying. Ensure that code that's being deployed is working as expected once it is deployed. So what it does, continuous delivery means it's saying ensure that your code is authenticated, ensure that the code has been authenticated and it has been deployed and it has been working properly. So we make sure that we check it in our local environment first. We check it in the local environment first. If it is working in the local environment, then we go ahead, then we deploy it on the cloud environment. So this is exactly where Jenkins is coming into the picture, guys. And how do we work with Jenkins? So, installing of Jenkins, we will be going ahead. We will be seeing this in tomorrow's class, guys, where because just to take a overview of Jenkins, to understand the layer of how Jenkins looks like, it is going to take some time to explain that in details. But today I'll just explain you how to set up a Jenkins server theoretically. So setting up Jenkins is very easy, guys. Setting up Jenkins is very easy. You guys can go ahead if you are installing it on Ubuntu or if you are installing it on Linux now. First thing you have to remember, Jenkins is a Java based product. Got it right? Jenkins is which based product? Jenkins is Java based product. So that means whenever you are going ahead, whenever you are installing Jenkins, you need to make sure that the system where you are installing Jenkins, Java is currently running perfectly fine. Got it, guys? Whenever you are installing Jenkins, you need to make sure that on the system where you are deploying Jenkins, Java is running, Java is installed and Java is successfully running. That's the first thing. Okay, without Java, there is no Jenkins. Again, Jenkins would not be running without having Java, guys. So here, once we install Jenkins, once we install Java, you can go ahead, you can start installing Jenkins. And Jenkins is a service. So just like how we installed Docker, we started Docker like sudo systemctl start Docker. Jenkins also needs to be started. Sudo systemctl start Jenkins. And Jenkins, once you start it, you will access Jenkins from the browser. Got it right? We'll be accessing Jenkins from how? From the browser, where Jenkins runs on the public IP with port number 8080. Jenkins runs on which port, guys? Port 8080. And the beauty is, guys, now Jenkins, I can install it 2 things. I can install Jenkins manually And the other way is I can also install Jenkins using Docker. Got it, right? I can also install Jenkins using Docker. Let me just show you. If you go to the Docker Hub, you have the official Jenkins image, guys. So production, we use that only. Production, we also set up Jenkins also on Docker. In production, we use set up everything majority on Docker. Whatever you get a chance, you try to Dockerize it. You see, guys, you have the official Jenkins image. If I just run this image, I will have my Jenkins server up and running within no time. Like you guys already know the power of Docker, right? Yeah. So running Jenkins is very, very, very easy on top of Docker. Jenkins used for what? Continuous integration and continuous delivery server. This is a fully functional Jenkins server based on the weekly and LTS, long-term support release. So you guys can pull the image. You guys can start running the image. Jenkins runs on port 80. Once we install Jenkins, guys, the true power of Jenkins lies within Jenkins plugin. Okay, so again, what is a plugin? Simply, guys, so here, if I open the browser and under the browser, you see you have something like extensions, no? Extensions. So if I say manage extensions, now what's happening is my extensions are all extensions. So what is the extension? Extension is just nothing but a small software tool that will help you to perform some actions let's see, discover more extensions. The best example is like theme. Let's say I want to set up a theme. I can use a extension for theme. Okay, favorites. Let's look at some extensions here. Automate apps and websites with AI in seconds. Okay, build automation with ChatGPT, Sheets XYZ, Momentum, Volume Master, Coupon Birds. Automatically find coupons and apply the best coupon code to save money for online shopping. Okay, there you go. You have one extension. Text Blaze. Create smart text expansions to get more done with streamlining your work. Again, one option to manage text. Styles. With hundreds of thousands of themes, skins, and free background, you can customize any website with your own color. Oh, this sounds cool. With hundreds and thousands of skins, you can customize any website with your own color scheme in a click. Really? Okay, let's see. Let's see how this works. We'll install it later. Yeah. So just like how you have different extensions, guys, how you have different extensions, and every extension has a purpose, right? Even Jenkins has extensions. Even Jenkins has extensions. And Jenkins, for every extension, again, same thing. It has a purpose. Where is this? Plugins. So extensions on Jenkins are known as plugins. Plugins are used in Jenkins to enhance Jenkins functionality and cater to user specific needs. So why are plugins coming into the picture? Plugins are coming into the picture to enhance Jenkins functionality. See guys, Jenkins by itself cannot do anything. You need a plugin. Without plugin, you cannot perform any task. You want to test the code, you need a plugin. You want to build the code, you need a plugin. You want to deploy the code, you need a plugin. Whatever you want to do, you need a plugin. Just like how Gmail, Facebook, and LinkedIn help you connect you one service to another, plugins also work the same way and allows us to connect from one service to other service and work with other products. So the beauty of plugins is just like how we have Gmail, we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn. What they do, they are helping us to connect to different services. Same like Jenkins has plugins that will help us to connect. Like you have plugin to log in with Gmail, plugin to log in with Facebook, plugin to log in with LinkedIn. So this is on website, right? So same thing, just like on Jenkins, you have different plugins, and these plugins help you perform different job roles or different job actions. So on the whole, Jenkins has how many plugins, guys? Here, Jenkins is well tested and provides several integrations with 1800 plus plugins to support build, deployment, and automation. So Jenkins has how many plugins, guys? 1800 plus. And in personally my experience, till date, across my overall life, I don't think so I've used more than 50 plugins. Got it, right? So you have so many plugins under Jenkins, guys. I personally, I don't think so I used more than 50 plugins. Okay. Now, and for every job purpose. Now, let me show you some examples of plugins. So here, let's say you want to integrate your Azure cloud. You have Azure plugin. You have to integrate AWS cloud. You have AWS plugin. Here, for example, you want to connect Azure from Jenkins. You have to download Azure plugin. You want to connect AWS from Jenkins. You have to use AWS plugin. Similarly, you want to use GitHub with Jenkins. You use GitHub plugin. So whatever the tool that you're working with, you have to install that plugin. Then you start integrating that process. So this is how, after certain time, once we finish setting up Jenkins, you will have access to all the tools under one single umbrella, where you guys can manage the entire pipeline directly from the Jenkins server. This is the power of Jenkins, guys. This is what exactly Jenkins is going to help us. Jenkins is going to help us in order to integrate continuous integration, continuous delivery layer on top of our existing tools. So now you know how to manage multiple different tools under the DevOps environment. But the next thing what I'm going to teach you is, how do you integrate all of these tools? How do you connect all of these tools? This part, huh? How do you go ahead? How do you connect? How do you automate all of these tools with a tool called as Jenkins? Previously, we had something called as Circle CI, Travis CI. Currently, we will learn this on Jenkins, and next, we will be learning this on Azure. Okay, so currently, as I told you, this is generic DevOps. After we are done with generic DevOps, I'm going to teach you Azure specific DevOps. Clear, guys? Clear? What is Jenkins? Where exactly Jenkins is coming into the picture? What is the purpose of Jenkins, and how exactly Jenkins can help us? Clear? Any questions here? Good to go? Good to go? Okay. So in tomorrow's class, we are going to be going ahead. We are going to be installing, setting up, configuring Jenkins, and we will be running our first Jenkins job, and we will see how that looks like. Yeah. So tomorrow, guys, again, we are going to start the class at same 9 a.m. And in tomorrow's class, we are going to be kickstarting on Jenkins. Okay. Thank you, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
Sir, what
Yeah.
is Docker?
What is?
On Docker form. Docker Compose and Docker Swarm.
Docker Compose ante intaku mundu before Kubernetes, we had something called as Docker Compose. See, what is Kubernetes doing? What is Kubernetes doing? We saw no in the last class. What was Kubernetes doing?
Scaling and load balancing.
Managing multiple containers together, right?
Yes, yes.
Same. Previously, Docker Swarm, Docker Compose was also doing the same thing. Now they are outdated. Now we use Kubernetes for that.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Sir,
Docker Compose.
in
Docker.
Kubernetes, we have some deployment strategies, right, sir? అది
That's what.
అంటే ఎప్పుడు అంటే కంప్లీట్ అయింది.
You are not present in Kubernetes class.
ప్రెసెంటెడ్ సార్. అంటే మీరు చెప్పలేదు. అంటే ఇప్పుడు డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ స్టడీస్ ఉంది కదా సార్. అంటే కెనరీ డిప్లాయ్మెంట్, బ్లూ థిన్ డిప్లాయ్మెంట్.
That again we'll talk in Azure DevOps. I'll show you.
Okay.
In Azure, I'll also create a cluster with AKS. Then I will talk about it. Then you will understand. So I'm just talking about open source deployments. Once we talk about cloud native deployments, then I'm going to show you how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు మీరు నార్మల్ డెవలప్స్ కదా సార్ చెప్తాను. అంటే ఇక్కడ కూడా అది యూజ్ అవుతుంది కదా సార్. అంటే జనరల్ గా నేను
సేమ్ థింగ్. యా, అవును. డెలివరీ మోడల్ ఇస్ ద సేమ్ థింగ్. మీరు Azure DevOps వాడండి, ఏ DevOps అయినా వాడండి, సేమ్ మోడల్. బట్ as Azure is also pending, no, even on Azure, I'm supposed to show you how to create Kubernetes cluster, how to integrate CI/CD on Azure. Then we'll see that. Don't worry.
Okay.
But you can use that model everywhere, anywhere. Not only Azure, generic DevOps, GCP DevOps, AWS DevOps, Azure DevOps, wherever DevOps comes into the picture, the deployment models remains the same.
Okay.
Make
Sir,
sense?
then we're having the tools like monitoring the tools like Grafana and Kubernetes.
Ah, yeah.
That's
So as I told you, this is not monitoring. We are not getting into SRE. That's what I told you. This is pure DevOps. You want to get into monitoring, again, you need to get into SRE. Datadog,
okay.
Prometheus, Grafana, ELK stack, Logstash, all that. That's again a different profile.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So
Thank you.
first focus on this, guys. See, we already have a lot. Now you have a lot of tools to manage. That is what I told you at the beginning of the class. You want to get into monitoring also, gain at least 2 to 3 years experience on delivery. Once you gain 2 to 3 years of experience on delivery, then you can get into observability. That stage is called as observability.
Okay.
Okay.
ఓకే సార్. అంటే ఎందుకు అడుగుతున్నానంటే ఇప్పుడు మామూలుగా అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ లో కూడా అది అడుగుతున్నారు, అందుకు అడుగుతున్నాను.
ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ లో అట్లా అంటే డిఎస్ఏ కూడా అడుగుతున్నారు డెవాప్స్ కి ఇప్పుడు.
ఓకే.
Got it, right? So they're asking data structure algorithms and all that. So a lot of unnecessary layers are coming into the picture, but that is not what DevOps is. Our job when you talk about DevOps, see guys, I'm teaching you 10 different tools now.
Yes.
Tomorrow when you deploy, you will hardly use 1 or 2 tools. ఒకవేళ 2 tools వాడితే కూడా గొప్ప.
ఓకే.
2 tools వాడినా గొప్ప. Got it, right? So you'll be only, let's say, they will either put you under integration layer, they will either put you under delivery layer, they'll either put you under deployment layer. Depending upon how good you are on which tools, they will decide where they want to use you. బట్ ఎవ్వరు ఇదంతా ఈ ప్రాసెస్ అంతా ఎవరు ఒక్కరు మేనేజ్ చేయలేరు. ఇట్స్ వెరీ హార్డ్. ఒక్కరే కాదు, ఒక టీం కూడా ఈ ప్రాసెస్ అంతా మేనేజ్ చేయలేరు.
ఓకే.
యా
యా ఓకే.
సింపుల్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, టెరాఫామ్ కి సపరేట్ టీం ఉంటుంది, యాన్సిబుల్ సపరేట్ టీం ఉంటుంది, క్యూబర్నెటిస్ కి సపరేట్ టీం ఉంటుంది. జస్ట్ ఫర్ క్యూబర్నెటిస్ దర్ ఇస్ అ టీమ్. Just for
Okay.
Kubernetes admin, the salaries are like 3.5, 3.7. Okay. Just for Kubernetes admin. No other tools. Only for Kubernetes.
ఓకే.
Got it, right?
Yeah.
సో మనం అన్ని ఎందుకు నేర్చుకుంటున్నాము అంటే యూ నెవర్ నో. అంటే మనకు ఆపర్చునిటీ ఎట్ సైడ్ నుంచి వస్తుంది. ఇదన్నీ డెవాప్స్, ఇదంతా పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ డెవాప్సే. బట్ డెవాప్స్లో కూడా మళ్ళీ చాలా డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంది. అంటే ఇప్పుడు చూసాం సిఐ సిడి ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ లేయర్ ఉంటుంది, డెలివరీ లేయర్ ఉంటుంది, డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ లేయర్ ఉంటుంది. మీరు ఎక్కడొస్తారో అది మీ స్కిల్ సెట్ బట్టి ఉంటుంది అనమాట. మీరు ఇంటర్వ్యూ అయినప్పుడు సపోజ్ నేను మిమ్మల్ని ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేశాను, సంబడి ఈస్ గుడ్ ఎట్ డాకర్, somebody is good at Ansible, somebody is good at Terraform, right? Then we will select or place accordingly. Like that, it's going to happen.
Okay.
Make sense?
Kiran?
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you said that, there are different teams like Kubernetes team, Docker team, like different people, different places, right?
Yeah.
So, if we are master in Jenkins, okay, if we are master in Jenkins, that means you are capable to handle all the below layers like Docker, Kubernetes.
No, again, not like that. There is already somebody who's managing Kubernetes. There's already somebody who's managing Ansible. There is already somebody who's managing Docker. What you'll do is you'll just connect them here. It's like managing APIs.
Okay. Even if we have Jenkins in the real world, the real Docker Kubernetes team and even different teams we need for sure.
Of course. So when you talk, I'm talking about enterprise level, Jagdish. Enterprise means you talk about applications like Myntra, Amazon Prime, no?
Yeah.
You see the amount of rollouts they'll be having, like new updates they'll be having. So every team, every layer is divided. Like there is lot of microservices. Got it?
Yeah. Even if we are used Jenkins to automate that application, even 24/7, after delivering the product to the customer, daily we use that Kubernetes for the customer. For example, if we have
Of course.
Mintra,
See, once you deliver, do you think the job is done?
no, we need to monitor
There will
that.
be continuous. No. It's not about, I'm not even bothered about monitoring. That's not even my job. I'm not saying that. Once you deliver the product, do you think the product is done? Do you think the product will not have updates, changes, patches, upcoming sales, events? Yes.
Whenever there is an
Okay,
update,
one second. You see Amazon, right?
yeah,
Is this website is going to look the same every day?
no,
There is 50% off on kitchenware, 60% off on daily needs. All these are changes, right? Whenever there is a change, whenever there is a rollout, the process starts. So this is a never-ending process forever.
okay.
Hmm.
So there, Amazon is must and should, for example in Amazon.
Hmm.
So they'll continuously pay the bill to the software company.
Of course, they have to.
Okay, they will manage the software engineers like Docker engineer, Kubernetes
Yes,
engineers
yes,
continuously.
yes.
Okay, okay. Hmm.
Not
So
just one
what?
company, hundreds of companies again.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have hundreds of vendors.
Got it, got it.
One
What I'm
vendor cannot
thinking
manage it.
is, yeah, what I'm thinking is, we are doing it first time as a manual.
Hmm.
After that, we have CI/CD, right? So when
Hmm.
there is any update on the code from the
Hmm.
developer, so
Hmm.
they'll push the code to the Git.
Hmm.
Automatically, it will take the
Yes, the
cloud.
CI/CD will take care of it. Correct. But
Mm-hmm.
now, do you think the process will run seamlessly? Yes. Do you think the process will happen smoothly? Never.
Okay, okay.
Yesterday, okay, the reason we did have a call, we didn't have a sprint because we had a we had a deployment. Uh, uh, so yesterday is Wednesday, no? So
Mm,
mostly Wednesday is for deployments on our. We
okay,
deployed. It took 8 hours, almost 7.5 hours for troubleshooting because things were not fine. Got it.
okay, okay, okay.
So a lot of things comes into the picture. It's not that okay, you deployed, you configured, your job is done. No, 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 never like that. Never like that. Your job as a DevOps engineer is to make sure that continuously the app is running in the backend, things are running, the CI/CD is being managed, the images are being built continuously, the delivery is happening continuously, your containers are running continuously. Everything has to be running in a streamlined process.
Got it.
Got
So
it?
what, as of now, what we are seeing is the first step. As a new application, as a new um, thing which comes into the picture, we are doing the first step of integration. The second thing is troubleshooting part.
That's
When
right.
we enter into the live, then the real issue is coming into the picture, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Absolutely.
got it. Thank you.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So
సార్ ఇప్పుడు
now,
ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్‌కి
yeah,
ఎందరుంటారు సార్ డెవలప్ ఇంజినీర్స్? అంటే
depends
జనరల్
upon the size. Depends upon the size.
ఓకే. లెట్స్ సే ఫర్ మీడియం సైజ్ ఉన్న ప్రాజెక్ట్ సార్. అంటే
చెప్పలేమ్మా, depends upon the size. Now, what is medium?
ఓకే.
Got it, right? What is medium? అంటే నీకు ఒక మీడియం ఉండొచ్చు, నాకు ఒక మీడియం ఉండొచ్చు. నీ మీడియం వేరు, నా మీడియం వేరు. Got it,
ఓకే.
right?
యెస్. ఓకే సార్.
Am I making sense?
యాహ్! యాహ్!
ఇప్పుడు అమెజాన్ ఉంది. నాకు తెలిసి దీంట్లో ఒక నథింగ్ లెస్ దాన్ వీడికి ఒక ఓకే, ఐల్ జస్ట్ టెల్ యూ వన్. వీ హ్యావ్ మైకల్స్. వన్ ఆఫ్ ద క్లయింట్ ఈస్ మైకల్స్. ఫర్ మైకల్స్ వీఆర్ ఓన్లీ మేనేజింగ్ పేమెంట్ లేయర్. Just to manage payment layer, there are 3 clients. Under one client, we have 11 people, where we have 6 people only to manage infrastructure, Terraform. Got it?
ఓకే. యాహ్! యాహ్! ఓకే సార్.
ఒక లేయర్కి మొత్తం అప్లికేషన్కి కాదు, జస్ట్ పేమెంట్స్ వరకే 6 ఉన్నారు టెరాఫామ్ మేనేజ్ చేయడానికి. జస్ట్ పేమెంట్స్ వరకే, జస్ట్ పేమెంట్స్కి. అట్లాగా ఎన్ని సర్వీసెస్ ఉన్నాయి ఒక వెబ్సైట్లో? ఎన్ని సర్వీసెస్ ఉంటాయి, రైట్? ఇవన్నీ సర్వీసెసే కదా.
యెస్. యెస్.
ఇవన్నీ ఫైర్ టీవీ, కిండిల్, ఆడియో బుక్స్, మొబైల్స్, అప్లికేషన్స్, మెన్స్ ఫ్యాషన్, ఉమెన్స్ ఫ్యాషన్, బాడీ ఫిట్నెస్, టాయ్స్, బుక్స్, ప్రోగ్రామ్, అమెజాన్ పే, ఇవన్నీ సర్వీసెసే కదా. ఎస్.
యెస్.
అది కూడా మొత్తం పేమెంట్కి కాదు. అమెజాన్ పేలో సెల్ఫ్ చెక్అవుట్ అన్న ఒక ఆప్షన్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, సెల్ఫ్
యెస్.
చెక్అవుట్, దానికి మాత్రమే 6 మెంబర్స్ టెరాఫామ్. ఓకే, ఓన్లీ టెరాఫామ్. మళ్ళీ డాకర్, క్యూబర్నెటిస్ దాని గురించి మాట్లాడలేదు, జస్ట్ ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తున్నాను.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే.
ఓహ్! యాహ్! ఓకే. థాంక్ యూ.
So once we start finishing this, you will understand, guys. Okay, you'll understand the complete layer. So after the entire course is done, no, after I finish the entire curriculum, I will show you how things look on production. So don't worry about that. So I'll take one class. how things look on production, so that you can also tell the same thing to your interview. So let's say tomorrow you go for an interview, you know all the tools, that is fine. But how are you going to handle an interview? Like, what are you going to tell them? We will discuss that. Got it?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you, Kiran. Bye.